let's turn that over to Mike.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things tonight. First, I want to call your attention to a revised consent agenda and a revised item 10. Those are both in front of you. Secondly, we do have some withdrawals from the agenda this evening. Items 27, 29, 30, and 33 have been withdrawn. Okay, 27, 29, 30, and 33. So that's all the announcements that I have, but before we move on the agenda, I'd like to recognize Mayor Anderson, who is here this evening, and he'd like to make some remarks.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and Mike for your kind comments. Tonight we're going to do something that an individual doesn't know anything about, we hope, and it's our time to recognize and say thank you to John Lackey for his many, many years of service to our community. And we'll have some remarks made by a few folks. For you in the audience, John has served as our chairman for some 35, 36 years. And just recently he moved over to take a chair in a position along with his fellow compadres. And of course, Sammy McCord took over as chair, and John will be serving out his term in his role. So tonight, you probably saw some special people walk in. John's wife and his children and grandchildren, and we've got some others here. But the first thing, John, just get over it, smile, and go with it, because you don't have anything to say about it. That's why we. So first of all, we want to bring up Bob Ring, who was the county exec back in 1986. The county exec, for you that do not follow all of the political things that go on, was the role that I have now. We call it the county mayor, but Bob was called the county exec, and he served in that role up to 1996, I think, at 98, excuse me. I didn't want to take away 2 years. Bob, come up, if you don't mind. Come on up to the mic and let you have a few words towards John.
Thank you, Rod. What in the world did I get you into, John? Words can't possibly express our feeling and what you've done for Williamson County and chairman of this commission. I'm at a loss to say how important your job has been and what you've done faithfully and truly for this county. And we thank you very, very much.
Thank you. That's the guy that appointed me, by the way.
That's right, John. He's the one that got you into this. So next I want to introduce Beverly and her family members. And Joe, you've got something special we'd like to give Beverly. You know, when you've been at this for 35, 36 years, we owe a great deal of appreciation to Beverly for sharing her husband with us for these late night hours and all the things that he's done. So Beverly, on behalf of the county, on the behalf of all of the Planning Commission and all the people that have gone before, thank you very much for allowing us to have John for all these years. But even more so, we got him out of your hair.
That's true. That's true.
You want to introduce all of your family members?
I would love to. Shall you all, you want to stand? This is our daughter, Dawn. And this is Madeline, our grandchild. She's a junior at Stanford University this year, going to London this summer. I'm envious, really. This is our son-in-law, Richard Smith, and our son, David. And then this is Caleb. He's a rising senior at Page High School. I'll leave him right there.
No, that's your family.
Thank you, Beverly. And to your family members, we want to say thank you too for sharing your dad with us all these years. John, we actually asked Senator Jack Johnson to come down tonight, and I'll ask Senator Johnson to come up to the podium. He's got a little special presentation to you also. Jack?
Thank you, Mayor Anderson. It's a pleasure to be with you all tonight. I'm pleased to be here, Mr. Lackey, to present you with a resolution that has been passed by the General Assembly and signed by the governor. It is an official act of the General Assembly to commemorate and recognize your contributions to our incredible community. Those of us who, I'm quite fond of a saying, and Mayor Anderson has heard me say this many times, those of us who have the honor of serving in various capacities now in this county, we stand on the shoulders of giants, and you are one of those giants, and we are grateful certainly for your service. I'd like to read a little bit of the resolution, if I may. You've had a long career, so I can't read the whole thing. We'd be here all night. But I'd like to read just a little bit of it, if I may. A resolution to commend John Lackey for his honorable and astute service to the people of Williamson County as a member and chairman of the Williamson County Regional Planning Commission. Whereas it is appropriate that the members of this General Assembly should pause to honor those citizens who have performed with uncommon devotion and enthusiasm throughout their years of public service. Whereas one such person is that evidence is great, the greatest integrity and probity in all his chosen endeavors is John Lackey, who took his much-deserved retirement in January of 2022. Whereas in 1983, after his nomination by County Executive Robert Ring, Mr. Lackey was appointed by the legislative body to serve on the Williamson County Planning Commission on June 13, 1985. His peers then elected him to serve as chairman, a position he held until the time of his retirement. Whereas, and I love this line right here, this kind of says it all, during Mr. Lackey's tenure as chairman of the Williamson County Regional Planning Commission, Williamson County transitioned from a sleepy rural county with a population of 63,000 to a thriving suburban county with a population estimated to be 256,000 people in 2022. And throughout his tenure, Mr. Lackey provided unparalleled leadership in the development of 4 comprehensive land use plans, 4 zoning ordinance updates, and numerous other planning efforts. Whereas Mr. Lackey has distinguished himself as a public citizen, public servant citizen of the highest order, and as an exceptional asset to this community. And whereas his remarkable success as a public servant and civic leader is directly attributable to his reliance on the time-honored values of hard work and common sense, and his uncommon ability to work well with other people from all walks of life. Although some might dispute that, I understand. But no, I think that to be true. Be it resolved by the Senate of the 112th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the House of Representatives concurring, that we hereby commend John Lackey for his 39 years of meritorious service to the good people of Williamson County as a member and chairman of the Williamson County Planning Commission, and salute his unswerving commitment to living the examined life with courage and conviction. Signed, Governor Bill Lee.
Thank you.
John, I would ask if you would bring that down with you and come down front. We have one more thing we're going to ask you to do.
Bring this.
This. We want to get a picture with your family, and while you're making your way down with the proclamation that the governor signed and presented by Senator Johnson, we, in keeping with tradition here in Williamson County, we do also want to present you with the county seal. The county seal is something that we have given very rarely out to people. But we've had this prepared, and we thought that you would enjoy this at the same time. And on a personal note, I've been here 20 years, and I've had the opportunity to reappoint John every single time. And it goes without reservations. In my opinion, he's the epitome of how someone runs a meeting. I don't always agree with the way he comes across, but he does a great job at running the meetings. And if Sammy, if you are around half as long as him and run a meeting like that, we'll both be doing good. John, thank you for your many, many years of service. And if we could have the whole family up here, because the press is here and they want to get some shots of your family, thank you. Get the family.
Which way we're going?
Thank you, Don. John, would you like to say a few words?
Oh, God.
Very few.
Not really.
Okay.
You know, I may be the only one that enjoyed doing this job, but I did. And I don't have a voice anymore. But I thank you for everything you said. That's kinder than kind, over-exaggerated greatly, but I do appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank you.
We are done. Oh, I do need to thank everyone.
Mike, you have anything else?
Family, you don't have to sit through that.
Thank you. Are you still in charge? You got to say.
It's not
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Very much. Come up here and look straight.
stay on the wrong place.
Mike, are you good?
No more announcements, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lackey.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the last meeting minutes. Do we have any discussion on those items, on that item? Have a motion. Did you hit the button?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Thank you. Moving on to the consideration of the consent agenda. Again, following our normal protocol, we will not read everything out. Is there any item that needs to be pulled from this list before we take them into consideration? Hearing none. Excuse me. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda? I have a motion and a second. Here we go. We're catching up. We have a motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, let's vote, please. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 27, I believe is correct, and it was withdrawn. So we're moving on to item 28, concept plan review for Nash Ridge containing 34 lots on 176.51 acres located off Hillsborough Road in the 8th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was deferred at the April 2022 meeting. The applicant is requesting concept plan approval of a 34-lot conservation subdivision in the Rural Preservation 5 zoning district. The review of a concept plan is the first stage in the development approval process. The proposed development consists of 34 lots, which range in size from approximately 21,000 square feet to approximately 49,000 square feet, with an average lot size of 0.78 acres. The overall density is 0.19 dwelling units per acre. Subject property totals 176.51 acres and is located at the intersection of Hillsborough Road and Sneed Road. The site contains a number of natural resources, including moderate and very steep slopes, slippage soils, and a large area of woodlands. Approximately 60% of the site will be preserved in open space, and 57% of the existing tree canopy will be retained, which meets the standards of the zoning ordinance. The required open space strip around the perimeter of the property has been provided. The concept plan depicts an open space strip with a reduced width along Hillsborough Road, which is permitted by Section 14.04 F2 of the zoning ordinance, as long as the homes within the reduced open space strip face Hillsborough Road, and provided that a landscaping plan demonstrates that the homes within the reduced open space strip will be unlikely to be seen from the road once the proposed landscaping reaches maturity. In staff's opinion, the landscaping plan does sufficiently demonstrate that the homes will be fully screened from Hillsborough Road when the landscaping plan reaches maturity. All plant material reflected within the reduced open space strip must be installed prior to the submittal of the applicable final plat in which it may appear. Water service will be provided by the City of Franklin, and wastewater will be handled via municipal sewer provided by Limestone Water Utility Operating Company. Staff has received confirmation that services are available. Access to the proposed development will be provided by a single entrance on Hillsborough Road at its intersection with Sneed Road. A traffic signal for the new roadway is already in place. The applicant has submitted roadway/intersection plans to the Tennessee Department of Transportation for review. The intersection analysis performed by the applicant was reviewed by the county's traffic consultant. Improvements to Hillsborough Road and Sneed Road include conversion of the existing left turn lane on Sneed Road to a shared left/through lane, and converting the existing marked median on Hillsborough Road north of Sneed Road to a southbound turn lane with a storage capacity of 185 feet. The site's access road should have 2 lanes for exiting traffic and 1 lane for entering traffic. One exiting lane should be assigned as a shared left/through lane and a right turn lane, both with a minimum storage of 75 feet. Additionally, the signal phasing plan and timing of the existing traffic signal will need to be modified to accommodate the additional intersection approach. These have been added as conditions of approval. Staff finds that the proposal meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance, subdivision regulations, and other applicable regulations, and recommends approval of this concept plan. It should be noted that once detailed construction plans and engineering plans are prepared in conjunction with the submittal of a preliminary plat, changes to layout, including the potential for a reduction of lots and relocation of drainage infrastructure, may be necessary. A landscaping plan will also be required. The preliminary plat must address the following. Number 1, submission of roads, drainage, and erosion control plans for review and approval by the county. Number 2, prior to submission of the preliminary plat, submission of off-site roadway improvements to Hillsborough Road as specified in the review letter from the county's traffic consultant to the Tennessee Department of Transportation for review and approval. Prior to the submission of the preliminary plat, submission of the off-site roadway improvements to Sneed Road as specified in the review letter from the county's traffic consultant to the County Highway Department for review and approval. Number 4, submission of water plans for review and approval by the City of Franklin. And number 5, submission of sewer plans for review and approval by Limestone Water Utility Operating Company. The final plat must address the following. Number 1, prior to the final plat being submitted for the first section of the development, off-site roadway improvements as specified in the review letter from the county's traffic consultant must be completed to the satisfaction of the Tennessee Department of Transportation. Number 2, prior to final plat submittal for the first section of the development, off-site roadway improvements to Sneed Road as specified in the review letter from the county's traffic consultant must be completed to the satisfaction of the county highway superintendent. Number 3, prior to consideration of final plat approval approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat, and the approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number 4, all plant materials reflected on the approved landscaping plan for the reduced open space strip between the proposed lots and the existing rights-of-way of Hillsborough Road, along with any berms, shall be installed prior to the submittal of the applicable final plat in which the open space strip appears. Number 5, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 6, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of the city of Franklin, if required. Number 7, establishment of a performance bond for sewer improvements in favor of Limestone Water Utility Operating Company, if required. Number 8, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 9, execution of a performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 10, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 11, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. So do we have any discussion on this item? Do we have a motion? Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion and a second? Let's go to vote. Passes. Thank you. Item number 29 was withdrawn. Item 30 was withdrawn. Moving on to item 31, preliminary plat review for Robertson Large Lot Subdivision containing 3 lots on 20 acres located off Henpeck Lane in the 11th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject parcel is approximately 20 acres in size and is located off St. James Drive, 1/3 mile northwest of Douglas Glen Lane. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 3 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the June 2022 Planning Commission meeting to allow the applicant more time to address staff comments.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Do I have a motion? We got a motion? Second? Got a motion and a second. Let's vote, please. Mr. Crohan? Motion passes. Item 32, preliminary plat review for Gentry Farm LP containing 1 lot on 5 acres located off Old Hillsborough Pike in the 9th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 5 acres in size and is located off Old Charlotte Pike East, approximately 3/4 of a mile west of Mac Hatcher Memorial Parkway. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create the 4th lot off an existing 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. All zoning ordinance requirements, including those regarding the protection of natural resources, have been met. The applicant is proposing an individual septic system for the lot, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Water will be provided by HB and TS Utility District. There is an existing fire hydrant meeting the minimum flow rate of 500 gallons per minute within 500 feet of the building envelope. The preliminary plat is in order, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, sir. Do I have any discussion on this item? Yep. Thank you, sir. Motion and a second. Let's vote, please. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on, item 33 has been withdrawn. Moving on to item 34, non-traditional wastewater site plan for Meadowside Wastewater Treatment Facility to serve Meadowside subdivision containing 141.22 acres off Patterson Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval for a proposed non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system in the Triune Character Area 4 zoning district. The proposed system will serve a subdivision that is planned for the property. County zoning ordinance requires a site plan for a proposed non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system to be approved before a concept plan for the subdivision the system will serve may be approved. The subject property is approximately 141.2 acres, there's a typo there, in size and is located at approximately 1,500 feet east of Patterson Road's intersection with Horton Highway. Approximately 17 acres of the site will be utilized for the proposed non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system, which includes the land application area, treatment facility, and storage pond. The treatment system, which will utilize recirculating media filter technology to treat wastewater generated by the proposed subdivision, will be located near the eastern boundary of the site. All individual system components meet the specific setback requirements of the zoning ordinance. A certificate of convenience and necessity has been issued by the Tennessee Public Utility Commission, and a draft state operating permit has been issued by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. A design development report and a detailed soils investigation report were prepared by the applicant and submitted to the county. The county's wastewater consultant has reviewed these reports and has concluded that all zoning ordinance requirements related to the non-traditional treatment and disposal systems have been met. Property is relatively flat with clusters of woodlands. The property contains a wetland and several streams that transect the property. The necessary waterway natural areas for the wetland and streams has been established. All ordinance standards with regards to natural resource protections have been met. A conceptual layout for a proposed subdivision on the property, which depicts 167 lots, has been included as sheet C-4.0 of the site plan packet. This conceptual layout is provided for illustrative purposes only and has not yet been reviewed for compliance with applicable regulations. It is staff's opinion that the combination of distance and proposed vegetation will serve to adequately screen the treatment system from adjacent properties. A landscaping plan has been submitted and approved by staff. Site plan is in order, and staff recommends approval with the condition that prior to submittal of the first final plat of the proposed subdivision, a zoning certificate must be obtained for the completed treatment and disposal system. Prior to the issuance of the zoning certificate, the applicant shall provide the following. Number 1, a letter from TDEC indicating that the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was installed and is functioning. Number 2, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that said system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. Number 3, a letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted said system and is currently operating same. Number 4, per the recommendation of the county's wastewater consultant, establishment of a performance bond for the on-site treatment and disposal system in the amount of $283,000. Number 5, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $17,900 for landscaping improvements. And number 6, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any discussion on this item? Have a motion.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve this with the correction in the written up part of this, at 141.2.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? Having proper motion and second, let's vote, please. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item 35, Haven Star Hollow, large lot easement subdivision containing 5 lots on 66.43 acres located off Pewitt Road in the 1st voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 66 acres in size, is located off Pewitt Road, approximately 1/3 mile west of Taylor Cemetery Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the June 2022 Planning Commission meeting to allow the applicant more time to address staff comments.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. There we go. And motion and a second. Let's vote, please. Motion passes. Item 36, Stevens Valley, Phase 8, revised, containing 41 lots on 10.96 acres located off Sneed Road in the 8th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A preliminary plat for this phase of the development was approved at the November 2019 meeting. That plat reflected 48 lots on approximately 12.6 acres. The applicant is now requesting approval of a revised preliminary plat that depicts a smaller area and a reduced number of lots. The lots that are to be removed from this phase will be platted in a future phase of the development. The roadway network has not changed. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with this and substantially conforms to the approved concept plan. This phase of the development will not trigger the need for additional roadway improvements beyond those already made by the developer. Staff recommends approval of this preliminary plat with the following conditions which must be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. 1, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. 2, establishment of a performance bond for water and sewer improvements in favor of Harpeth Valley Utilities District. 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And 4, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plane Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any discussion on item number 36? Do we have a motion? We have a motion, Mr. Sanders, you verbally, you mind saying it?
I'll make a motion to approve for staff's recommendations.
Thank you. Got a second on there with Don Crowan, so let's vote, please. It passes. Thank you. Item number 37, Stevens Valley Phase 11, containing 7 lots on 1.56 acres, located off Sneed Road in the 8th voting district. Staff?
A concept plan for this development was approved at the April 2016 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for Phase 11 of the subdivision. The developer will be rerouting a stream as part of a stream restoration project, and at this point, the plat does not demonstrate compliance with waterway natural area standards. As a result, staff recommends action on this item be deferred until the June 2022 meeting.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Second. Motion is second, so let's vote, please. Motion passes. Moving on to item number 38, was on consent agenda, so we're moving on to item number 39.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I am recusing myself of item number 39.
Thank you, ma'am. So St. Marlowe, Section 1, containing 45 lots on 80.04 acres, located off Long Lane in the 12th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A revised preliminary plat for this development was approved at the November 2021 meeting. The applicant is now requesting final plat approval of the first section of the development, which contains 45 lots, 44.55 acres of open space, and the treatment and disposal areas for the wastewater treatment system. The final plat is consistent in layout with that depicted on the revised preliminary plat. All required off-site roadway improvements have been completed. Staff recommends approval of the final plat with the following conditions. Number 1, the approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number 2, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control in the amount of $1,300,000. This is a reduced amount based on work completed. Number 3, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District in the amount of $332,360. Number 4, per the recommendation of the county's wastewater consultant, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system in the amount of $151,300. Number 5, establishment of a performance bond for landscaping in the amount of $89,800. Number 6, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 7, execution of a stormwater maintenance and agreement plan and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 8, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion on item number 39? Do we have it on the, we're still on 37. We have got a motion and a second proper. Let's vote, please. And the motion passes. Thank you. That concludes our open session of the Planning Commission. At this time, we're going to a closed session, so I ask the citizens to leave at this point. Thank you for your time. Hang on, don't go too far. No, I'm just kidding. You go ahead. I'm messing. We're good. We're back on. So do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you very much.